Crock Posse, Aunt Lou here, and today we are going to be making Crock Pot Hamburger Casserole. All while having a whole lot of fun. I about forgot the biscuits. You can't forget the biscuits. Hey Crock Posse, Aunt Lou here, and today we are going to be making Crock Pot Hamburger Casserole. About screwed that one up. Did you see me kind of like stutter step in my mind? Anyway. Crock Pot Hamburger Casserole. There we go. This was something that whenever Cris and I were growing up, Mama used to make it in the oven, and it was one of my all-time favorite recipes growing up, and one of the first things I learned how to make in the oven whenever I lived on my own. And so we decided to make it in the crock pot, and it works just as well. So awesome. So what are you going to need? I already have 3 pounds of ground beef browned up here, and you brown it with 1/4 cup of dried minced onion. So you brown it and drain. And then I have 2.5 cups of water, 3 brown gravy mix packets, and 2 of the tubes of refrigerated biscuits, the small ones, like the 7.5 ounce tubes. So, and then we have our 6-quart crock pot, and we're gonna get started. So the first thing you're going to do is spray it down because you don't want anything sticking to your crock pot. And then we're going to take the ground beef and we're going to plop it in there and spread it all out. It's kind of trying to stick together, but that's okay. You can break it apart pretty easily. There we go. For some reason my ground beef is liking itself, and so it's wanting to stay all stuck together. So there we go. Alright, now we're going to take 3 ground beef, not brown gravy mixes, but brown gravy mix. Wow, I'm struggling. So we're going to take 3 of these mixes and we're going to put them in our 2.5 cups of water. And this is just, since it's going with 3 pounds of ground beef, then I just want to make sure I have lots of yummy gravy. And so that's why we're using so many gravy mixes, just because we're using a lot of ground beef. And if you would like to take it down to 2 instead of 3, your prerogative. I just happen to like a thicker gravy, so this is what we are going with. So we're just going to mix that together until the water and the powder mix are well combined. Trying to make sure I get all of it in there together. And then we are just going to pour this in here and try not to get it everywhere. Then we're going to take our biscuits. Busted in my hand, and we are going to evenly place them around the top. And so you're gonna want to put them kind of close together because they do fill up the entire top of a 6-quart oval crock pot. I've also made this in a casserole crock pot, so if you don't have a 6-quart but you have a casserole crock pot, you can give it a try in that as well. And if at the end you have more biscuits to go in and you don't have room, you can always go back and kind of smush them together just a little bit so that you can fit all of your biscuits in, because you just want this in one layer. Ooh. Oh, knew that one was coming and it still got me. So just putting these all in here. Those 2 can fit on that top layer, so we're going to smush those in. So I generally just start by making a circle of biscuits around the outside, and then I will fill in that circle with another circle on the inside. So just to give you reference, let me count them up. 1, 2, 3. I have 6 biscuits in the inner part, and then the rest are around the edges. So that just lets you kind of know, since I don't have a fancy smancy camera to put on my crock pot whenever I'm cooking down here. So I'm sorry that you don't have the overhead, but I'll try to explain it so you can understand what I'm doing. So now we're going to take our paper towels. And the reason for the paper towels is to keep the condensation that will gather on your lid from dropping onto the recipe. It's going to drop onto the paper towels and it will stay right there. So I like to put the lid on, and then I just kind of give my paper towels a gentle but firm tug so that I can make sure it's nice and tight. Now we're going to cook this on high for 2 hours or low for 4 hours. Halfway through, I'm going to take my insert and I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. So that way any hot spots do not stay cooking one particular spot the entire time the recipe is cooking. And so that way everything can cook a little bit more evenly. And so we will be back in 3, 2, and we're back. And so I know this crock pot pretty well, and I know that it cooks a little hot, so I checked this at about 1 hour and 45 minutes after cooking on high and turning it after about an hour, and it looks perfect. So let's dig in. So if you want to check yours around, or just a 15 minutes, 30 minutes early, like just to see what it's looking like. If you've never tried this recipe before, perfectly fine. Just make sure your paper towel doesn't dip down, and you're just gonna have to be careful with that. But look at this yummy gravy and the beef, and then your biscuits just bake up nice and pretty. Okay, so let's give it a try. I'm gonna take bets on whether I can do this without burning my mouth. It's just so yummy. Like, the gravy just blends in with the beef perfectly, and then you have the fluffy biscuits on top. And I actually love where the biscuits meet the meat and gravy. Like, that's my favorite part of the entire recipe. And so it's all just comfort food yumminess. So if you like this recipe, give it a thumbs up. If you have not become a member of our Crock Posse family, hit the subscribe button down below. And if you would like to know every single time we post a new video, hit the button called the ding-a-ling. No matter what you do, laugh often, eat good food, and speak life. Bye!
If you want to see the latest, click on the left right here. If you feel like subscribing, click on the right, my dear. And if you think we're fun,